Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I've got an episode of Mailbox, the series where you guys can leave any questions you'd like down in the video comments section, and I will pick some of the top rated comments to answer in the next episode of Mailbox. The first question today comes from YouTuber Doom49. He's pretty well known for doing the Battlefield Shenanigans series. He said, what are your thoughts on the new PlayStation 4 or even the new Xbox? Do you think PC players will finally be able to play against console players while staying on their platform? Now, I gotta say I'm pretty excited for the new consoles. It's been quite a while since the console community has gotten an update, and the hardware currently is pretty dated. I mean, even when I play console games or have seen people play console games, the graphics are kind of painful for me to look at. There's a lot of things that you won't notice if you're used to a console, but frame rate stuff, image clarity, low-res textures, all that kind of stuff is something that bothers me as a PC gamer, and I can't wait for console players to get a nice upgrade to that area. And it'd also be nice for console players to get the ability to play 64-player maps on Battlefield for the console mode. As far as having cross-platform multiplayer, where PC players could potentially play against and kill Xbox players or vice versa, I think it's an interesting concept. What it would ultimately lead to, though, is people realizing how much more of an advantage you have with a keyboard and mouse. I'm not saying that the keyboard and mouse is an ultimately better control setup than controllers. I mean, obviously you need a desk and stuff to use them, but you will have an advantage. So console players at least are only playing against other console players who also have controllers. PC players are playing against other PC players who have keyboard and mouse. If you mix them together, I think you're going to get a lot of console players getting the crap kicked out of them. I'm not saying I haven't seen console players that can play extremely well with controllers, but those are the top end. The average console player, I think, would absolutely get destroyed by the average PC player. It's not necessarily that one has better tactics or better skill, it's just that the mouse and keyboard, I think, is easier to use. On the other hand, if they set that up, it could be a cool way to usher in console keyboard and mouse controls. I imagine when the Valve console comes out, there's going to be a pretty interesting battle between keyboard and mouse and controller. So we'll really have to wait and see what happens. But for the time being, I think to be on the safe side, to not ruin the console community, it's probably best to avoid cross-platform multiplayer gaming. The next question comes from Pete Moorhead. He says, hey Level, what are your thoughts on a new World War II themed Battlefield on Frostbite 2.0? You can't honestly say that wouldn't be awesome. And no, Pete, you're right, I can't say that. It would be awesome. Getting back into some World War II shooters with these new, improved, advanced engines would be sweet. The World War II setting is absolutely perfect for a destructible environment game. There's plenty of cities that were fought in during World War II that could be absolutely demolished, destroyed, and putting that into the Frostbite engine would look amazing. I have no doubts about that. However, I do have a few doubts about the World War II genre being a little bit less popular nowadays, and modern warfare genres being extremely popular, and people liking guns and attachments and unlocks and all that stuff. You're just not going to get as much of that in a World War II game. Sadly, the World War II weapons were not quite as modifiable as, say, an AR-15 style platform is nowadays, so you don't get quite as much customization. I'm sure you could have a bunch of cool boosts and kill streaks and whatever you want to throw in there. I mean, obviously you don't have kill streaks in Battlefield, but some type of thing in the World War II genre to still allow you to modify your character, but you're going to have to get a little bit more creative. And I think that's where it kind of falls short in the marketing department compared to modern games again, is just people love to tweak and customize and modify their characters. And you can do that with modern weapons. It's just tricky to do on the older World War II style guns. Oscar335 asks, what are your thoughts on Minecraft? Now, obviously Minecraft is huge on YouTube. I mean, some of the biggest channels out there are Minecraft channels. I'll even watch the Yogscast from time to time because I do find the game Minecraft very intriguing. I've even played the game a bit with my brother. Obviously, it's not right for my YouTube channel. I'm trying to keep my YouTube channel about tactical shooters and tactical shooters only. I do follow the game now, and my brother plays it a lot more, so I'm able to sort of ask him what's going on with the game, what's going on with patches, and it seems like the game's just sort of crawling along in terms of its progression. at a base level. Sure, the mod community has taken off like crazy and implemented all this awesome crazy stuff, but the rate at which they're creating content versus the developers are creating content is just night and day. I wish the devs would actually start adding in a whole bunch of cool stuff to the game to really allow it to grow faster and create a cool world around the Minecraft universe. And they're just taking forever to get anything done. And I think that's really unfortunate, because you are seeing other clones pop up here and there. Terraria is getting a lot of steam, and that's sort of a 2D platformer. And you know, they're implementing a lot of stuff much faster and much cooler than in Minecraft. Sure, it's 2D, but still they're actually getting it in the game, getting it out there, getting it updated quickly. And I just watched the Minecraft team, Notch and all those guys, and they're just sort of crawling along. They could easily just buy some of the mods out there and implement them into the game. I mean, dual wielding mods, rope physics mods, any of that kind of stuff would make Minecraft instantly better. The next question comes from Joker is no Mac, if that's how you pronounce your name. What are your thoughts on Battlefield Friends, the satire animated series? I freaking love Battlefield Friends. I think that show is hilarious. I think the guys really capture like the essence of the Battlefield community. The voice acting is top notch. The animation is great. And I've actually spoken with some of the guys outside of the show, told them that I just thought their show was absolutely hilarious and that they need to keep it up. You know, this is just a great show. They do such a good job of just showing you what actually happens in Battlefield and capturing all the different characters that you run into. So yes, again, I love the series, and I hope these guys can just keep it going for as long as the Battlefield franchise is alive. The next question comes from Mr. Trader. He says, hey LevelCap, my question is, do you want Battlefield 4 to have a campaign, or do you want the old bot matches back? Well, I gotta say, if they're going for a campaign that's like the BF3 campaign, then I could care less. The Battlefield 3 campaign had some pretty visuals here and there, but the gameplay itself was incredibly boring. There was just nothing entertaining about it. I did enjoy the Bad Company campaigns a bit more. Just the characters in it, sort of the humor involved with it, made it more enjoyable, more fun to actually go through. But you know what? For me, Battlefield has always been a multiplayer experience. Since 1942, where there was no single player, there was just basically bots that you could play with on your own if you didn't want to play online, was the only way that you could play the game. Then they started to integrate sort of the single player aspect with the Bad Company series, but I've always felt like it's never really been necessary. It's just sort of a marketing aspect to the game. I've never actually even finished the Battlefield 3 campaign. I just play the multiplayer. That's what I'm in it for. That's what I enjoy. But it makes sense to have a single player campaign to sort of broaden the scope at which the game might appeal to. And I hope that they can take more cues from the Bad Company series, because it's just entertaining, it's enjoyable, it's funny. As far as bot matches go, I really don't think that's necessary at all. I think that kind of game mode is sort of very old-fashioned and not many people want it or need it anymore. Bots take a lot of time to program intelligent AI to make them function well, and I think if they just have a few training modules so you can, like, say, learn how to fly a jet or operate certain more complex vehicles outside of a multiplayer game rather than in a multiplayer game where you're actually using up a really valuable jet by flying it into a mountain trying to learn how to fly. You know, they want to try and avoid that. So if you just implement some training modules, I don't think we really need any sort of single player bot mode. So that wraps it up for this episode of Mailbox. Don't forget to leave your questions down below, read other people's questions, upvote the ones that you like so I know which ones to pick, and don't forget to rate the video if you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap, signing off.